have on the back.
What's going on, beautiful people? I am the Grand Master, and I also go by D-Ray, bringing you guys the next episode of the Grand Master's Table. And today we have a very, very special guest. But first, our introduction to our co-host, Summer. Say hi.
Hi.
Our special guest today we have is none other than the legendary PattyTrills himself. Go ahead and say hi, my man.
Who? No, I'm just kidding. How you guys doing? It's your boy PattyTrills, a.k.a. Young Johnny Bravo, a.k.a. Firm Handshakes, a.k.a. Mr. Super Pawn himself. How you guys doing?
So today is our day field to sit down with Pat and talk about him, his day-to-day life, dissect who is PattyTrills, the guy, the man, the YouTuber, the content creator. So hope you guys are ready for this one. Pull up a chair, get your popcorn ready, because it's going to be a good one. With all that being said, if you guys are new here, please do me a massive favor and hit the subscribe button, turn on post notifications, hit the bell button so you guys get notified every single time we post a new video. And while you're
Facts, do it.
And if you like it, hit the like button. Right, because it helps us out a lot. Content creators, we need them likes. So you smash that like, because the algorithm for YouTube can be a bitch sometimes.
Yeah, any viewers of mine that are coming into this, because I'll be promoting it when it comes out. Yeah, drop a sub, drop a follow, drop a like, put a comment to help the algorithm. You already know what it is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
The YouTube algorithm is a beast sometimes. How have you been with your content creation? Has it been steady, smooth?
No, so 2019 was like a pretty weird year for me. Like statistically wise, like stat wise, it was good. It's just I just went through a lot of like weird lulls with the algorithm. So some months I'd absolutely kill it. Like not even talking financially wise. I just mean strictly just from like a watch time and view per video basis. There'd be some months where I kill it, and then there's some months that I'm like, I have two left hands, you know. It's just so like right now I'm not really stressing on it because I got a full-time job now, so like I work full-time because when the internet was hitting pretty low, I wasn't really able to pay all my bills, so I was like, all right, I gotta go back to a 9-to-5 and this will take a back seat. So I still upload. It's just now that my stats aren't as good as they used to, I don't really stress on it anymore, just because, you know, it's not my main source of income anymore. So I just kind of upload to enjoy it now, like how it was at the beginning.
Yeah, definitely. Daniel sees the effects on that.
Yeah.
But I was curious. So when we were watching your video right now, I was really curious as to where you're from.
I'm from Vegas.
Oh, okay. I was like tripping out because I was like, does he have an accent or something? But okay, that's what Daniel said. He's like, it says Sin City. I'm like, yeah, but still, you don't know.
Yeah, so the thing a lot of people... Okay, so where'd you think I was from? Okay, we'll start with that.
I don't know, because I am terrible with trying to figure out accents, but I heard something, like I heard an accent. So I maybe I was thinking somewhere like, I don't know, Swedish or Danish or something like that.
Okay. Yeah, so like I have a minor speech impediment on top of that. Which, yeah, like okay, before I say this, it's never been like diagnosed. Like I never went to the doctor and been like, yo, I talk funny, what is it? But like there are times where I just like my brain will just randomly throw out like a different accent to a word. And it's definitely not because I'm trying to. I just think it's because like I have ADHD. So like my brain is like processing 90 million things at once. Yeah. So then like I get like 4 words ahead, and then I'm thinking about that word, and
that
then
makes sense.
Yes, I mean a lot of the times people think I'm from New York. I get a lot of like.
Okay.
That's what my guess was going to be.
I can see that.
That 100%. So I've been a big fan of you for Draft League for quite some time, and I assumed, right, since City Scissors, your team Draft League, that you'd be from Vegas. But at the same time, your accent got me that you were somewhere in New York. That you were in New York.
I get it all the time.
Brooklyn.
Yeah, I get it all the time.
Brooklyn fellow.
Yeah, dude, literally all the time. Like I've been to New York like a handful of times, but I've never lived there or anything.
Yeah. Okay. Well, now that clears it
up,
that.
Guys. So Vegas, hit up my man.
No way.
So how long have you been doing?
Not
YouTube?
now.
Yeah. Not now. Stay home.
Yeah, not now. Everyone, social distance, keep that going.
Yeah.
But when you're in Vegas, hit him up. How long have you been on the platform on YouTube?
So I started. So actually, so before PattyTrills, for a lot of, if my day ones are listening right now, I was known as PattyTrills, and so I spelt it grab a back seat because the spelling doesn't make sense. So I spelled it PattyActle, and I ran with that name for like 2 years. So I started in October of 2015, and I didn't change my name until January of 2018. And it took me 1,000 subs. It took me that long to get 1,000 subs, which is good. Like, don't get me wrong, I wasn't complaining or anything like that. But like, the moment where I changed my name to PattyTrills, like my growth was way better because people could actually fucking spell it.
Yeah,
so that's the only difference.
Kind of crazy how like a name does so much for like a channel. Like it's something that's easy, that will just like memorable, that like sticks, like something so simple, and that's what makes a difference, you know, for people's channels.
Yeah, because I tell a lot of people now, because like I'll have some people who are like trying to rebrand, or they'll like, or new people are trying to get into content, because I keep my DMs open, so I get a lot of like people who just kind of have random questions about like tech and stuff like that. I don't mind helping them, because like when I was starting out, like I had to learn from the jump, like all by myself. So to save them struggles, which by the way, that means anyone listening, if you have any questions, my DMs are open. But yeah, it was just like, I tell people now, like the name itself doesn't really have to be that good. It's just most likely, like the biggest advice that I give is that it has to just be easy to spell.
Yeah.
Like
100%.
Like as long as it's easy to spell, they'll go out of their way and spell it. Like the name doesn't have to be like this super catchy, like, you know, like for example, PattyTrills. No, but like it's like a super like, you know, like we think of like Game Boy Luke, or like we think of, like,
it's an image,
you know, yeah, but you could like I live in Vegas, and so like showbiz is pretty big out here, and like you take a group like the Blue Man Group.
I know, it's like the Blue Man Group. It's not
cool,
it's the
most
anything.
straightforward, weird thing ever, but yet they sell like millions. It's just an easy name to market off of.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That's why I always tell Daniel, the simpler you keep things, the better it is, like for people to find you, and like it's more attractive when it's simpler. Yeah,
100%. It's about creating a brand for yourself, becoming memorable, and I think a name does tie into that. Like for you, when I first think of you, when I think PattyTrills, not only do I think Draftly, but I also think, for those who, obviously we have his audience here listening to the podcast here now, but you guys obviously know that he has branded himself with like a not bloody, but a gory Alakazam skull head. And that skull head is almost basically hand in hand with who you are. It helps. As soon as people see that, it's PattyTrills. It makes you want to watch the video, because you know that you're with that brand. It's the same thing with anything else. If you're gonna buy one sweatpant, you may buy a sweatpant because it's got the Nike logo on it. You may buy the sweatpant because it's got the Under Armour logo. But the brand itself is what changes content creation for us. So the more memorable we could be, the better, the more successful we're gonna be. And with you've done a really good job branding yourself. Your content is phenomenal, I will say.
Thank you. I mean, I feel like I don't try, but thank you.
But that's like the best. Like when you don't try and you're like, wow, okay, like you're doing great for not trying, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I say that jokingly. Like I try very hard. I lose sleep over this shit, but like, I just mean like I try to carry myself as if I'm not trying.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because like I'm not a big fan of like super I think quality is very important for one off. Just like a good camera, good microphone, good editing. Like I make sure I do all of that. But I mean like the overall tone and mood. I never wanted to make it feel too processed, because it's still like YouTube. You know, like I don't ever want it to feel like
a robot.
It's like a robot, or if it's like, you know, there's too many cooks in the kitchen. Like I always just kind of wanted to make it feel like when people click on a PattyTrills video, it's like, okay, I could kick back and like hear this random white kid ramble for 30 minutes, and then
I love your comedic little skits that you have in your video. I don't know if it's just been recently that you've been adding that, but for those who've seen his videos, like you'll start out the video from your closet or from your bathroom door, and you'll just stare into the camera. That has been my favorite so far. The little skits that you have in your video. What was the inspiration behind that?
So the somersault thing.
Yep.
I'm gonna keep it a freak with you. No clue. I just I just wanted to, because like most of the time people just kind of start the video with like, hey, how's it going, or like what's going on and stuff like that. And even then, like intros I think are very important. That's why I said what's Bracken, because like no one else says that. But yeah, the somersault thing, that was just like whatever. Like I was trying to record something, and I think I had a little bit too much caffeine, and I was like, I need to do something. You know, I need to like grab someone within the first like 5 seconds. Like that was my plan. So I was like, I gotta do like something. So then I would, for some reason, I decided to do a somersault. And when I did it the first time, I was like, yeah, that bitch was kind of clean. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like I felt pretty good. Like I was like, cause like I'm like 6'1", so like I cover a lot of ground when I somersault. So when I did it, and I happened to pop up like conveniently right next to my chair, I was like, yeah, this is just meant to be. Like,
this was supposed to happen.
This is something that needs to stick around. That's epic. You know, it's funny. I'm gonna go back.
And then the staring into the camera door thing.
Yes.
So in that episode, or not that episode, Jesus, in that video, I start by walking backwards to the camera. That's actually a Twin Peaks reference. I don't know if that's a TV show you guys have seen before.
I've heard of it, but I've never watched it. I've been really curious to watch it.
Yeah, so it's a very how to explain this. So if you want to become like a sweater in films, like a sweater, someone who's like pretty tryhard.
Okay.
That's like a show that you'd probably watch because like I studied in film before all this, which is like how I learned how to do all this stuff. Yeah. And that was a show that I watched and I used to criticize because for people who've also watched, I have a series called Pre that I haven't done in a while because obviously everything shut down, where I like kind of review movies, where I review videos, or I review music videos and stuff. And so movies, Twin Peaks was one of those shows that I watched when I was studying, because it was like one of my assignments and stuff. I had to kind of like criticize and pick things up and see how they were kind of like making that show, because that show's very unorthodox. Which is like its charm. So like there's a scene in the show where I haven't done it yet because I feel like I was gonna spoiler. So there's gonna be, I want to try to replicate it. So there's a scene in Twin Peaks where this guy is doing this investigation because people are being murdered and stuff like that, and he kind of goes in this weird room. And in the room, he's acting normal, but everyone else is also acting normal, but they're speaking. So the way they filmed it was they had all the characters talk backwards and move backwards. So when they played it in reverse, it's them moving normally but speaking weird.
What the heck? That's
trip.
great. That's trippy.
Yeah, so like there's a part where like a buffalo's like coffee, like walking up and trying to give coffee, but he would then like, so if he was to get up and ask for coffee, he would actually be asking like to film it, he'd be like fuck and like sit down because it's like coffee backwards. Yeah, so I was gonna do that, which I want to do it now, but at the time I was like, I'm just gonna walk backwards and I'll cut to like me staring in the camera. So it's a Twin Peaks reference.
Gotcha. That's interesting though.
That's clever.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's like it's not that deep, but then you ask about it, and it's like I put way too much time. It's like 5 seconds of an intro.
I really thought this one out.
Yeah, there's some hypothesizing going on before these videos come on, guys.
I don't know if anyone new has noticed, but I partake in marijuana, so like random ideas go in my head.
That's awesome.
Light bulbs in people's heads are about to pop up. Like, this is all making sense.
Okay, that makes sense.
Going back to your pterodactyl reference, I looked at Summer when you said that because it's so funny. Not only are we like the same height, because I'm like 6'3", and you're 6'1", so you're pretty tall. Back in high school, I used to get called pterodactyl. That was my nickname in football because one day I was doing a squat and I just had this incredible amount of weight. I think when you're like 16, 17, 225 is a shit ton of weight. So
that's a good squat, anyways.
Yeah,
like even now.
That for me.
Like
I mean, like I like to play basketball, so like I squat, but like 225 is a solid squat regardless.
We need to play this back to the guys back in high school because when you're a lineman, that ain't much. But
right, when you're a lineman, they expect you to move buildings. So I get that.
Exactly. The world's burden on your shoulders. You better push it.
Yeah.
So this weight's coming up, and this face just comes out of me because I got to bring it in and being yelled at by Coach Cal, and he's like, "Hey, get that up, get that up." So my face just turns into this weird, wonky bird-looking thing. I don't know what it was. My buddy Marco goes, "God damn, you look like a pterodactyl," and it just stuck the whole time. And it would shift to when I was playing ball, mask is on, and it's pterodactyl. And then when I'm in school, behind the books, people that don't know me, don't know my first name, they call me Terry. So I ran with it for a while. So my email was pterodactyl1@yahoo.com. And
that's sick though. That's a cool nickname.
That was my thing. So
Terry.
we relate in that way. That's pretty cool.
That's cool.
So we're gonna get back into your history, bro. When did you dip into Pokemon as a franchise? When did you first come in overall? It doesn't have to be draft league. When did you first dip in or like, man, this is dope?
So my first Pokemon game ever was Pokemon Silver back in 2000.
Gen 2.
Yeah, Gen 2, because I was born in 96, so I was a little too young. Like I couldn't be like shitting in my diaper playing Red and Blue. Like that just doesn't work.
Yeah.
So I turned 4, and my grandfather, rest in peace to him, but my grandfather, so like to explain how old my grandfather was old like when my parents were young already.
Oh, okay.
Like
So
he was
had
born in
them older.
1927.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like my
Yeah.
grandfather fought in World War II. Like that's how old he is. And that's my grandpa. Like I know kids who are like, yeah, my great grandfather.
Yeah, my great grandma was born in that time.
Yeah, this is just my grandpa. So like when I came out like into the world, like he was already like retired. Like that's just like the age he was at.
Yeah.
And but he was just like a cool dude. Like he's the one that got me into Zelda. He got me into Pokemon. He got me into so he just like he bought me the games and then he bought me like a shit ton of cards and he like would like play with me and stuff and like facts. Little did he know, like rest in peace and mom. Little did he know he was setting up for the long game. Like he knew.
Yeah. That's crazy. That's crazy that a grandparent got you into video games. Because sometimes they have a really old worldly view on like video games and stuff like that. So that's awesome.
Yeah, the first console I grew up playing with was the Sega Genesis because he had one at the house.
Oh, yeah.
So like I used to play Golden Axe, like Sonic, Earl and Toe Jam, like all the goats.
Yeah.
The goats you play with your grandparents, the goats you play with your parents. I used to play that with my dad. My dad loved that game.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's cool.
crazy.
And piggybacking off of that, we're gonna ask you the probably favorite question that everyone usually likes to get asked whenever we have someone on the Grandmaster's table is if you were to have one Pokemon given to you, this doesn't have to be your favorite Pokemon in Draft League, this doesn't have to be your favorite Pokemon aesthetically, if you were to pick one out of 800 plus, what is your favorite Pokemon of all time?
Still Alakazam.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why it's my mascot, like, or the head.
Is there a story behind that one, or is it just more of an aesthetic thing?
No, just because, like, I'm a very, like, analytical person. And even as a kid, like, I was, like, it was so weird. Like, I was, like, a kid, and I, like, already rationalized, like, yeah, teleporting is, like, the best way to transport. Like, there's no everything that I would ever need.
I agree 100%. Yep.
This is analytically correct. This is the best way.
Yeah, this is the best
Yeah, it's just, like, he's so OP. Like, and I know, like, if I, like, because obviously Pokemon in the anime, like, they have their own kind of boundaries and parameters. Like, obviously Ash has to win, or if he does, like, lose, it's, like, whatever. But it's, like, literally, if I had an Alakazam, I'd just be like, dog, just teleport behind him and, like, blast him and like you move at the speed of light. Ultimately, you're so broken. It's not even. I'd become God, and then yeah. So like, just Alakazam because like, but see now since I'm like way more lazier, it would just be like, hey Alakazam, can you like teleport me some G Fuel?
Yeah.
That'd be sick. That's like that movie Jumper.
I think that's like if I had like a power that I always wanted, it would be to teleport. Like for myself, if I chose a power for myself, I would teleport. Yeah,
that's similar to that movie that I was saying, Jumper. Have you seen that movie?
Yeah, Jumper's great. Yeah,
Jumper.
It's pretty much Mace Windu against Anakin Part 2. It's just all it really is.
Basically, so essentially, he has photos where he visualizes where he wants to go to, like snaps his finger and ends up there. You just teleport there. But he has these photos he visualized being like on the top of Mount Giza or on the Mount Rushmore, and he just blinks and boom, he's there. Which I do agree would be the best way to travel.
Yeah,
that'd be dope.
Definitely be
Hop
the best
into a
way.
bank, grab yourself a couple G's, and just walk out.
Yeah, exactly. See, like that's the thing too. I would just teleport. Like, you know how good I'd be at sports. Like, I'd be like, I'm literally the greatest wide receiver ever. Just chuck it, I'll find it. Like, don't worry.
Just throw it and I'll be there. Don't you worry about it.
Yeah, like you can literally throw it out of bounds, and I'll throw it back into bounds. Like it doesn't matter. Really.
That's epic.
That or stopping time. If it's power based, it'd be that or stopping time.
Stopping time.
That's a good song. Let's get into that. Would you say, okay, now I'm interested. Would you say, because that is very, very true, if you were to be given a superpower, because now this debate has been opened wide open, would you rather be able to teleport or stop time? Because that's pretty hand in hand.
Yeah,
stop time because it's technically teleporting but slower.
Yeah.
And there's
now,
more.
Would you say
uses out of
stopping
it.
time in regards to just literally putting pause, or to move extremely fast?
Or you mean
Nah, just pause, because I think fast. Well, hey, we're not on this planet long enough, so I don't want to fast forward anything.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, because stopping time is just like it just be convenient. It's just like I forgot my key, or I forgot like my wallet at home, and I'm gonna be late to work. Not anymore. And it's like, it's like, well, yeah, but you could like just teleport and do it. But just, I don't know, something about like the process of like stopping time to go get it and then just make it to work on time is like, yeah, none of y'all even know what just happened.
Now, with
I
that
saw you
being
stand in
said-
place for 15 minutes. Like,
With that being said, would it be more convenient to you to be able to stop time, drive all the way back home, grab your keys, and then go back to where you were, or to teleport back forth within milliseconds?
Yeah.
right, but then if you can teleport, why do you have keys?
True.
Touche.
That is
like,
a trick.
yeah, it's just
loaded
kinda-
question.
It's just kind of like, like I don't know. I feel like stopping time would just be fun. It's just because it's like you can really see a lot of the little things in life then
That's
at
true.
that point.
Like all the little details of everything. Yeah, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
so like, it sounds like if I could stop time, I could like look at nature forever, like catch a bird
That's
mid-flight,
true.
or like.
See,
you know,
and
these-
my thought process of teleporting is so that I can see more of the world, like you're like, oh, I want to go here today. And you just like think about it and you go to where you see more of nature
You'll
and
see
more of the
everything you
world
wanna
and
see.
everything.
Yeah. See, I think also the reason why I wouldn't want to teleport all the time is because I feel like it'd be kind of like, when people get rich really fast and they're like, I have everything and I don't have anything else to do now. Because I feel like teleporting, you would like just clear your like bucket list in like a day.
True. That
And you're
is
like,
true.
okay, I've been to literally everywhere on the planet. What now? I guess I just won't open doors anymore.
Yeah, that's true. I never thought of it that way.
Stopping time at least gives you like a limit. Because I think like a big thing of life is like constantly having to grind for something.
Yeah.
Regardless of what that is,
Guys, if you guys didn't expect to get these deep Grandmaster
Yeah,
table
these
talks,
deep questions.
you're welcome, because this is something that needed to be discussed.
Highly debated.
Highly debated. What's your favorite superpower? If you
I
were to
just
get one?
said it. This you never listen to me.
I don't listen. Exposed.
Anyway, I just told you literally like 5 seconds ago. I'm not saying it again.
Oh, the roast.
Yo, comment if y'all remember what you said without going
Yeah,
backwards.
right?
Put it in the comment
I
section
will
down
be.
below for the algorithm.
I will be reading those comments just to be from there. But mine's more of an elemental thing. I think it's funny because I'm about to get roasted in the comment section below.
Probably.
But there's for those who have seen Twilight.
Oh God.
Twilight's cool.
Twilight
We
is
love
dope.
Twilight in
We
this
love
house,
Twilight,
but
bro. Shout out to
geez.
Twilight,
See,
shout out
like,
to
I'm
Kristen.
not. So, like, I love the idea of Twilight, but I don't love Twilight, if that makes sense.
I was one of those girls that grew up reading the book in middle school, and
Right.
and of course fell in love with the storyline and everything. And even now to this day, I get like, oh, Twilight's on, and I get excited,
Sucker
and then
for shit.
I like watch it, and I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, this acting is so dramatic, like beyond
But it's so
dramatic.
good at the same time. And then there's two different audiences, right? There's the audience that Summer has, that has read the book, has these expectations, watches the book, and then may or may not be disappointed depending on what they read and what they saw. And then there's, me, that I have not read the book, I have no expectations, and therefore the movies are phenomenal. That's what I'll say. But there's
Yeah, the movies aren't made well, in my opinion.
No.
I just think they came out at the right time. I think that's just kind of like the props I give it, because
Yeah.
like the movies are ultimately silly. Like
Yeah.
the movies are silly, but like the premise of the movies isn't. Like the dynamic of like the vampires and humans, and then like the
Yes.
werewolves, and I can get behind that.
Yes.
It's
I
just
100% agree.
clearly the movies knew their audience, so they just like heavily
Oh,
catered to that
yes.
audience. So that's what
100%.
made, like, that's the part that I can respect, because it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, all right, like I'm here for it.
100%.
You didn't act, you distract. Like they're like, I could give you this really good line, or I can take my shirt off and give you the same
exactly.
Cater to your audience.
Yes, exactly.
What do the people want to see? And then thus the whole theater just loses their fucking mind.
Yeah.
Summer,
I got a couple dates out of that, so.
There you go.
Oh my god.
Back in high school. Like, yeah, I'll take you to the movies when I go see the new Twilight.
Falls right in your arms.
You did too.
I did too.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Summer, you can remind me of this guy's name. I don't remember his name. I think it's the fourth, the last movie. But this dude has basic all control of all elements.
Oh, I don't remember his name.
Earth, wind, fire.
Right. So you could just say Avatar, but all right.
There you go.
Avatar. There you go.
That's true. That's true.
You could choose Avatar, but you chose Twilight.
Cater to your audience. Cater to your audience.
Oh my god.
That'd be me, man. Just
funny.
control all elements. It's me. Fire, earth, wind, water. Smash the earth.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Earthquake.
Yeah.
You'll like someone, make a little quake,
cool.
follow them in, close it.
See, if I had all the elements, I would just try to fix the planet.
Yeah.
This area needs more rain. This area
Exactly.
needs some mountains.
It's about the bigger picture, people. It's about the bigger picture.
Yeah.
So, guys, I would like to transition over to earlier today. For those who aren't following me on Twitter, shame on you. Please make sure you follow me on Twitter. It is @GrandmasterDray, and I sent out a tweet to grab some questions from the people to see if they wanted to ask our man PattyTrills here to see what he wanted to say. Now, for the first question that I have on here is by @John Jr., who's your fellow coach in the APA at the moment.
Yeah.
John Jr. says, what's your favorite APA match that you've had? I think, is this the first APA season that you've been in?
Yeah, so funny story, Mightykiss asked me to join the APA like 2 years ago, but I never saw the DM. So
Oh my god.
that was unfortunate.
Sorry, I was sleeping. Yeah, I'll join.
Yeah,
the
because
APA.
like I was supposed to battle
taking a
him
long
this week,
nap.
but he never got back to me, so I don't know if he's doing fine or not. But so I opened up the DMs to ask him like, hey, like when are you available to battle this week? And I saw that DM like, hey, I have this league called the APA. You want to join it? And I was like, yo, I'm gonna keep it $150 with you. I didn't see this at all. But are you free this week?
I've arisen from my nap. Now it's time to play.
Yeah. So best match. I think the best match I played was obviously the one that I uploaded last week, the one that I won, because I'm currently 1-4, so you hate to see it. But
that's tough. That's good that you say that, because I was actually having a discussion with Jay. It goes by Dietite, also with the APA with you.
Yeah, he beat me. He played really well.
Yeah, Generation A has been wild. It's been weird. It's for those who are experienced in Draft League. I don't know if it's just the mechanics or the new Pokemon that are in. It's just something's throwing a lot of people off. Either you're really, really good right now, you have a great record, or you're really, really bad, which is, where I'm at the moment.
It's really weird, because like Gen 8's like hyper aggro just because of the timer and everything, because like it makes no sense that Pokemon like shorten that timer to 20 minutes. Like, who complained about a 60-minute timer?
Yeah.
When did battles ever get past 60 minutes? Minus like a handful, like I've seen. But like, it's just weird. So I think by doing that, players are just inherently more aggressive, and then by doing that, there's like less calculated plays.
Yep, exactly.
That even I'm like a victim of. Like, there's been plenty of times where like I could made a more defensive switch, but by then doing that, I might hit timer. So it's like, okay, well, I gotta go to. Speaking of timers,
yeah,
like,
damn, that was good timing.
Yeah. So and then it's like, or I just do this and like try to punch back, and it's so weird. It's just like I think, no disrespect to any of the battlers I'm going up against for the rest of the season, I think I stand a pretty good chance to either cancel out even, like go 5-5 or like 6-4.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I think I'm like some super god tier battler, but like I think I'm definitely above average when it comes to most leagues I'm in.
100%. I think what you're trying to say is what I was actually telling you, Summer, last night, because I came from the VGC scene. I was I did a lot of events in that sense. I gained my CPU. I was invited to Worlds in 2016, ironically, which is the same year that Wolf ended up winning it. Ended up being the
Shout out to Wolfie.
Shout out to Wolf Lake. But when I transitioned over to Draft League, which is sometime around like mid last year,
Yeah, like July.
kind of adjusted
August.
pretty well. And that was during the tail end of Gen 7, which is when, like you said, we had that 60-minute timer. And now that it's gone, I'm starting to notice the one thing which is everyone's common denominator. It's not necessarily that the timer is the issue, but it's getting in people's heads to make you make moves that you wouldn't have done otherwise. Kind of like in same with like game shows where you have that ticking timer, that pressure in the background, and you make a decision in that moment that when you reflect 5 minutes later, you're like, what the hell did I just do?
Yeah.
You don't even remember what just happened. Kind of like a whirlwind. Like
that
I
is
should've made
true, yeah.
something
'Cause
else.
even the timer on the turns are shorter too, because we have 60 seconds, which like in perspective isn't really much to like look up calcs, look up this, possibly how much would this do, or.
As an outsider looking in, and I have absolutely no idea about any of this, and when Daniel talks to me about these things, I'm like, okay, cool, like smile, nod, and I have no clue. But as an outsider looking
Shout out
in
to
on
the
this
wife.
and seeing him battling, like it honestly looks stressful because he has to move so fast and his mind is going like a million miles a minute, and with the timer now, he's not as like. He's like, I don't even know why he did that. Like, he's just doing things and, like, not like, oh, this is what's going to work. But he wouldn't have done that normally. So, I can see that.
Because like, the meta's new. Because, like, I'm a like, I might be gassing myself up. But Gen 6 meta, I had that shit in the bag. Like, like Gen 6 meta, like, I remember I was in the All-Star Tournament, like, league that Token hosted, like, years ago. Like, I was in leagues where I was going, like, 10-2 and, like, you know, like, multiple times. Like, I was hooping in Gen 6. Because, like, that meta was so, not easy, but, like, the timer was better. And obviously, it was older, so you had more time to kind of, like, adjust and move on. And, there, you know, there's so many, like, things that just kind of naturally made sense. When Gen 7 came out, the Z moves, it did push me back a little bit. Like, I remember the beginning of Gen 7, I had kind of a hard time, like, adjusting to, like, oh, any mon can have a Z move now. Or, like, any this or that. And then eventually, like, that kind of figured itself out. Eventually, like, new sets kind of paved the way, like Gen 6. But Gen 8, like, it hasn't happened yet because it hasn't been out long enough. I feel like if we give like a couple more months, the meta will definitely be more understood, like, naturally. Because like we just gotta get used to it. It's just like just trying to get our footing in. Because it's like I've been doing competitive since like the tail end of Gen 5, and it's like I always realize I have like that same curve like every time. Like
Which
every time a new meta comes out, because it's like I don't have enough time to put into it.
That's a big factor too.
You're still learning it.
That leads into the next question. That's going to be my question that if I were to type one out on Twitter at Grandmaster Dway, it would be, what is your opinion so far thus far? Because it is premature to ask this right now because this game was released November, and we're in April. So this is not even 7 months out. Not even then. And so
4 months, 5 months.
What is your opinion on the mechanics of this generation, moving like Gen 7 as an example, which, like you said, we had Z moves, we had Mega Evolutions, now we have Dynamax, Gigantamax. What's your opinion on the mechanics so far?
So, Pokemon was capping when they're like, yeah, we got rid of Megas and Z moves because we wanted the meta to be balanced, and then Dynamaxes are absolutely broken. So, that was a lie. So, we'll just start off with that. I mean, I don't think the meta's bad by any means. I do like things of the meta. It's just there's a lot. It's weird. So like the meta itself has become, I would say, inherently more simple. But since it's simple, since I'm so used to complicated things, it's just different. The fact that it's different, it makes it hard. Not necessarily the fact that the meta is hard, because like
adjustment.
Yeah, it's just the adjustment. So like trying not dumbing it down, but like there's no more hidden powers, so you don't have to worry about like HP fire, HP ice, or like this and that. And then like there's no pursuits, so like there's no more pursuit. Like there's no like a lot of these mind games that were a thing aren't there anymore. And a lot of the mind games that are happening now are different from what we're used to. And I think that, like what you were saying earlier, like trying to make a player to make a decision because you're like pressuring them to do it is what makes that meta hard right now. That I'm having a hard time because I've been noticing now, like I have the series with me and Joey right now, the LC to OU. And there's a lot of times where, or even like when I do like Pokeballers and stuff, like there's a lot of players that I would normally think that they would, I'm going to click this button, best chances for them to counter that is to do this, and then they just like stay in. And I'm just like, yo, what the
exactly what Daniel's dealing with.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why would you stay in? And then them staying in is like, it kind of benefits them.
Yeah.
And like, then they pick you off for a kill or something like that. And you're just like, bad plays get rewarded. But they're like, is it inherently bad anymore? It's like, no, not really. Because there's not that many mind games going on anymore. It's like
exactly what you just went through.
Yes, that's what I was going to lead into, because there's a couple leagues. I'll give an example. Shout out to OG Albina. We were just talking about this today, that it's not necessarily like what you said, rewarding a new player, but it's tough for a veteran player to adjust. Therefore, like you'll anticipate someone, like, let's just give an example, right? I'll toot my own horn too, but if you and I were to play in a game right now, I know your playstyle just from being a fan of you and watching you play, and then you like to think 3 or 4 steps ahead. Understanding what your win con is, understanding what you need to keep around in order to win the game at the end of the game. And knowing that you can't risk that win con,
or like playing aggressive at times.
Exactly. There's a certain time in the matchup where you can be more aggressive than others. Typically, that's not in the beginning, but in the beginning of a matchup, you kind of want to save that said win con and make a play to make sure that it's still around. But you predict that, right? You want to make sure that you make a prediction that you're going to think that I think you're going to switch out or make a specific move, etc. But now the straightforward thing is to not do that. Yeah. So therefore, the person who's doing the over predicting, which in past generations would be a smart thing to do, is now not. But at the same time, the person who didn't make that prediction now is, like you said, getting rewarded because someone's over predicting and you're benefiting off of it. And who's the bad player here, right? Who's over predicting? Yeah. And who's the one that benefited off the most? Which is
it's neither player is a bad player. Yeah, exactly. It's just ultimately like the game of chess. It's just like you could think end game, or you can think like right now, or you can think one turn ahead, and it's just like, and that's what comes down to player, you know. So it's like, I mean, that's kind of like the beauty of League, because like a lot of the times I don't really know who I'm going up against, so I don't really know their play style. So then I have to kind of adjust on the fly.
It's kind of smart.
Smart though. It's a great change for, if this is the strategy that Game Freak did moving forward with removing hidden power and removing pursuit, then it's gonna make it more entertaining for the actual viewer, which is great. Yeah,
like don't get me wrong, Dynamaxing is lit, like from a viewer standpoint. Like Philly had that tournament that he had last week that unfortunately my internet wanted to die on, that I couldn't partake. Because I'm not trying to gas myself, but I definitely would have waxed that whole tournament. My team was so foul. Because like I asked Envy, I was like, yo, Envy, make me a team like real quick just for these like parameters. And he was like, oh, I bet I got you. And he sent me the team, and it was so gross. Like, let me read it off to you. So like, so Dynamaxing was allowed, and just the only things that were banned were like no legendaries and mythicals or something like that, and everything had to have only one item. Like you couldn't have like 2 bands, 2 scarves, or anything like that.
But post
yes, but also post home. So his team, so the team that he sent me, it consisted of Corviknight, Grimmsnarl, Mamoswine, Tyranitar, Blastoise, and Dragapult. And the Corviknight was leftovers with Jolly, Brave Bird, Body Press, Roost, and Bolt Cup. Grimmsnarl was Prankster eject button, so literally all you did was set up screens, eject out, and then go into a sweeper. And the sweepers were Wider, Blastoise, a Shell Smash, or Weakness Policy, D-Dance, T-Tar, or like Choice Scarf like Dragapult, which then you could also Dynamax in all of those, so you don't have to be stuck in a move with Dragapult's Scarf.
It was like defensive backbone. That's nasty.
Yeah, it was just so foul, and I was like, man, I'm ready to just beat everyone. And then my internet was like, yeah, you hate to see it, bro. I'm like, slow down there, Buckaroo.
Not today.
Yeah.
Not today.
Yeah. So yeah, this meta's just like weird. So, but like, anyway, so before my time was coming up when my internet was working, I was watching the players play, and I was just kind of commentating on them. And like, yeah, it's a fun meta to watch, like especially seeing like them do a misplay or them try to over predict and stuff. Like it is a very fun, fast-paced meta. Yeah, it's so like I understand why Pokemon did it, because it's like 60 seconds compared to 90 seconds is a huge difference for one. 20-minute battles compared to 60-minute battles. Which, I mean, most battles never got to 60 minutes, but on average, I'd say a battle was at least 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, at least.
Oh, yeah. You can, this land time
it's just easier to digest. Yeah, you know, it was just an easier, now it's just an easier form of content to digest. So as a content creator, it's cool, but like,
yeah,
at the same time as a content creator, it's not cool because it's like, yo, timer's about to run out. Like, rip.
Yeah.
And we lost. So then the next question that I have here, guys, on Twitter is from Rage Quit, and that's by @RageQuit. He asks,
shout out to Rage Quit, by the way. He day one. I just wanted to have that moment for him.
Good man, because I didn't recognize him, so I'm glad that you said that. He says, and he's asking you, who's your favorite non-PokeTuber content creator? That's a good question.
That is a good question. Non-PokeTuber.
I'll give you all time, then I'll also give you like as of right now. So all time, that goes to Game Grumps. Like, that's without a doubt. Like, Aaron Hansen is like one of the most inspirational people to me, you know, when I was young, because I used to watch him like back in Newgrounds, so like before he even did YouTube and stuff, and then he went to YouTube and I was like 15, 14 at the time or something like that. So I was at a very impressionable age.
Yeah.
And he just had like such a fucking mentality. And I was like, yeah, I don't care what other people think either. So I'm gonna also give that mentality.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
You know, yeah. When I met him, it was like, I don't ever get starstruck. But when I met him, I definitely was like thinking of like, oh, I have like a million questions and like to ask him. But like, yeah, and I had a conversation with him, and my girlfriend says I did fine. Like, I carried the conversation fine and well, but in my head, I was like, you know,
yeah.
But as of now, like so I don't watch Game Grumps as much right now, but I still try to tune in and whatnot. But like a content creator that I try to come back for like pretty regularly, or as long as it's not sports related, because I'm really into basketball. But I would say like Afro Sanju. He's the homie.
And for those who don't know what his content creator, what does he do on YouTube? What is his content?
Oh, so like he plays mostly like anime games, where he's like known for like the Dark Souls, Sekiro like type of games. So it's technically variety, but it's not necessarily what he plays. It's because obviously most people who actually enjoy the person's content, it's usually like, oh, it's them, it's the creator.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Like, there's a reason why, you know, like you come to watch my videos compared to someone else's videos, because it's like you like the way I personally do something. So like it's the same thing that goes for Afro. So Afro, if he ever watches this, shout outs to him. Is not only just funny and stuff, and like he says a lot of things, it's the way that he composes his let's plays that are very much different. So like a lot of the times, like when someone does a let's play, it's kind of just like 20 to 30 minutes straight of content, but he will kind of record like an hour and then compose it down to 20 minutes. So it's not skipping too much, but it's also just kind of giving you like the good bits. Yeah. And you can still understand the story like coherently, and like you can still get it. Because like there's been games that like I've played and that he's also playing, and like but I'll play like after him, and then like as I'm playing it, and like obviously I'm not getting any of the skips or anything, it's like, oh, but like I ultimately got the same experience watching him. Like, he's really good at understanding like what to take out, what to leave in, what's important, and like what's really good for pacing, and his commentary as well. He just gets it, and he hit over 1 million subs recently, which shouts to him. I only did one video with him. I met him at E3, and we recorded a video for the My Hero game before it came out, because we were both with Bandai and stuff at the time, and I absolutely smacked him, like 3-0'd him. and we were commentating and stuff, and it was fun, but like the audio was bad, so
but
he never wanted that run back. But I had to,
That's crazy. But yeah, that and like what you just explained about him, I think that is kind of, you have to have that universally to be like a great content creator, no matter what you're doing. Like pacing, understanding where to cut, and you know how things are gonna lay out, and seeing the big picture of things. I think
making people laugh and entertaining people is valuable. If you are entertained, and that could mean a whole lot of things for a whole lot of people. Typically, usually means being funny, but for the most part, if you go out there because you feel good, then that's what makes you
Yeah.
Makes you memorable.
Yeah, because like that's the thing too, because it's like because people who are watching this hopefully or who want to be content creators, obviously that's like the way I just explained Afro Story, that's not like the end all be all. Like you can find success in so many different ways. So like, but that's just what makes his content him. Like, so if I were to like recreate that wouldn't be me. That wouldn't be my content, because I'm not known for that style of like editing and that style of episodes. I am known for editing. Like I have my own edits, my own memes and stuff like that I've done, which I definitely need to get back on, because I'm gonna randomly plug, if you guys ever have time and you have if you guys want to watch a let's play, my solo Y series that I did like years ago when I was like, I think transitioning from Pterodactyl to PattyTrills, it was around that time. And also I had an egg lock that I did. I used to do a bunch of edits in the middle of the episodes too, to kind of keep it all fresh and everything. And those are some of my more proud let's plays.
I have to check that out.
We definitely will.
Yeah.
And so the next question, guys, that we have here on Twitter is from Bradley Boyd at Noah's Ark. He asks you, when are you gonna drop League of, oh, he misspelled it, that's why.
League of Legends videos. When are you gonna drop a
League of Legends video?
So I stream League of Legends every once in a while, because my girlfriend got me into it, and I'm not like amazing at it. Like I'm not gonna sit here and be like, "Yo, Liquid, where's the signature at? Like, where's the contract?" But I definitely I'm decent. Like I'm pretty naturally competitive at like almost every game I play. Yeah, like I'm pretty decent at League of Legends. I've been smacking kids on Apex for the past like month. Bro, like I just
10-year-olds like, nope.
Whoa, it's so sad.
The
It's so sad. Like I'll be playing with my best friend, like my IRL friends, and we'll be playing. Like we'll just be doing stuff. We're just like, damn, I feel so sorry for these kids sometimes. like I just did them so dirty. And like I've been up, but like yeah, it's just me with any game I play. Like that's why I got into competitive with Pokemon. But yeah, League of Legends. I probably won't ever upload anything on YouTube wise, just because YouTube's algorithm absolutely hates any content that's not what you already upload on your channel.
Yeah.
So if I ever did, it'd probably be once I hit like a giant threshold. Like if I was at like 300K and I didn't care at that point, knowing that I would still grow regardless, because that part of the algorithm would still benefit me duly just based off of my size.
Yeah.
Then that'd be different. But like I'm in this weird field right now where it's like I'm not a big channel, but I'm not a little channel. I'm like a medium-sized channel, or like medium small, I guess, if you look in like a perspective. And because of that, the algorithm doesn't like me, but it kind of does. And then like I've never had a video hit like front page or recommended ever, like never.
It likes you when you stay in your lane.
Yeah, when you stay
yeah,
in
exactly.
your lane.
And yeah, exactly. And it wants you to stay in your lane right now. And it's like you also grow by collaborating with other channels and stuff. But it's like it's kind of hard, because since I'm in that weird phase, it's like, do I collab with a bigger channel, like how I am with Joey right now, or do I collab with a smaller channel? But does that really help me? And it's like, and there's not a lot of channels that are roughly around my size either, so I can't even get like another 20K PokeTuber channel with mutual growth. Like name another PokeTuber with like 21,000 subs right now. You can't. They either have way more than that, like 50K, or they have like 2,000. There's like
not in the middle. They're either above.
Yeah,
or below.
and I'm like the only channel that's like really in the middle, and it's weird.
Yeah.
Which is true. Which is exactly what's gonna happen now. So, like you said, Patty's got a lot more subscribers than this channel. This channel was created in August, and has grown pretty quick.
I mean, I hope you guys obviously gained stuff off of this. Like,
which is sure. Nice. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to the real ones at PattyTrills. Welcome, guys. Welcome.
No, because it's like, because like people are always like, oh yeah, you grow your channel with like all these and these, and it's like, oh yeah, that's all true, but like realistically, it's always gonna be like a bigger hand.
Yeah,
a bigger hand always coming down.
Yeah,
because like that's like I'm not like. Do I think I'm funny? Yes. Do I think I bring something new to the table in the community? Yes. Do I think I'm like a one of a kind person? Yes. Do I think I'm sucking myself right now? Of course. But like, but like, I can still admit. Yeah, threw you off. All right.
That got a snore out of me. I was like,
but I could still admit, like, if it wasn't for like Luke or Callum or A-Drive or Duncan or like Joey or whatever, I wouldn't be at my size like anywhere remotely close, because it's like the discoverability on such a saturated platform is really hard, and realistically the only way to do it is either get absolutely lucky by like algorithm RNGesus, or the more common way is someone bigger kind of just like chilling and want to be cool and just like help you out. Like, you know, I want to be on a podcast. I like, yes, I mean, like, people obviously grow from other people, and like a more natural way, that kind of more common way. So, you know, like I said, not to sound conceited, but I like the way I talk. I just like talking, not necessarily by myself, but I just like to talk to people.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, like a podcast is
Conversation.
literally, it's literally all that is.
Yeah.
So that's why I made the tweet, like, for opportunity. Even if like I didn't care about the size of the podcast, like even if it was their first episode or their 100th episode, or if they were well known or getting off the ground, it's like I'm just here for the ride. So so like when you shot your shot, you know, and then I checked out your stuff. Like obviously I checked out the quality as well. Like I want to make sure.
Yeah, you're connected with someone that has a better quality of you know,
or like just someone that I think I could hold a conversation with as well. Because I've definitely met people who are like, "Yo, we should work together." I'm like, "Yeah."
Oh, okay.
Crickets.
Yeah.
Chirp, chirp, chirp. And we're out.
Because that happens, but so you know, when you shot your shot, like that was the right thing to do. Like that's what you have to do. So like just keep that up, you know. Like hopefully this helps you out. Of course, like I don't expect this. I expect you to be like, wow, the number one listed podcast in all of iTunes and
all of iTunes.
I'm about to be the biggest promoter you've ever seen in your entire life.
Right, but like you know, I just
100%.
Hopefully people who come in here and listen to me and you talk, and like, you know, they have you know, they see that, you know, you can hold a conversation.
We vibe with each other. Yeah. That's what's the quality. That's the quality of a podcast, is when the conversation's good, and then it's what's the word that I'm looking for? It's authentic.
Yeah.
I think when I listen to a podcast, I want to feel like I'm with you're kind of conversing with friends.
With your buddies.
Like it almost feels like you're in the car, or like you're sitting there doing whatever you're doing and you're with your friends, like listening to them talk. That's like how I feel like for me, in my opinion, a podcast is like, it's just a conversation. It's nothing like, it can get deep, it can be light, it can be whatever it wants, but it's like comfortable, you know?
Yeah, as long as the overall tone or mood is very, like, comfortable or welcoming.
Yeah.
Like, one of my favorite podcasts is the Super Mega Podcast. Like, they're great, but they're just two bros just, like, talking about stuff every week, you know? And that's just what it should be, realistically.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
And guys, transitioning to one of the second to last questions, because the question that's following after this one, I want to leave to the last, because that way I can leave the the room after for Patty, my man. But the last question that we have here is one that is going to be teleporting us from the beginning of the podcast, that I've been curious about. I'm sure Summer's been curious about. But at Jack's Pool, closed, Jax_Pool, he asks.
That's the last one.
That's the last question.
Oh,
but the
you're
second
gonna hold
to
the
last,
I just connected. Oh, okay.
Okay, so at Jack's Pool, he asks, what first inspired you to get ferrets?
Oh, yeah, so if anyone knows me, I'm a sucker for animals. Like, I like animals way more than humans.
Yeah.
So
that sounds like our son.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like so I never had many animals when I was growing up, because I grew up like insanely poor and very unstable. And and then like every other house I lived in after that, like usually kind of had their own pets already, or they just weren't for pets. So like so my girlfriend also happens to be like a huge animal lover, so like cool. Win-win.
Yeah.
So we were kind of compiling our Avengers team of animals, and so we have a chinchilla already. Like, she had a chinchilla. Aww. We have a cat who's absolutely fat, but I love him.
That one's the best.
I got a chameleon.
And
then we have a bearded dragon as well, and then a hamster. But they're all like relatively small animals. Like, they just are in their cage.
Just
like,
a colorful cast.
Yeah, we're definitely a household of animal lovers, mainly because, I grew up a big time animal lover, just of all animals in general. And then when we had our son, he's 3 now, but he is obsessed with animals. Like, we go to the zoo all the time. Like right now, obviously, because we can't because they're closed, but he asks for it every day to go to the zoo. So we definitely love animals in this household too.
I love that you have a full, colorful cast of animals. It's not just like
Yeah.
I got 10 dogs and
10
5
dogs.
cats, and I love animals. Nah, I got a bearded dragon. I got a ferret.
Yeah.
I got a chinchilla.
Yeah. So, I was saying, how old are you guys, by the way?
Oh, Daniel, you go ahead.
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
You're gonna throw me under the bus first?
Senior citizens go first.
Cheese and rice. You know Panther, right? Panther. Shout out to my buddy Panther too. I'm in his
Yeah, shout out to
range.
Panther.
I'm 28 years old. I'm 28.
20. Oh, okay. You guys are setting this up as if like you were insanely old or something.
No,
Whoa.
I make fun of him all the time because I'm 24, turning 25 this year, and he's 4 years older than me, and I always like to make fun of him that he's so much older than me and like really old.
Bro, 4 years is a big gap. Think about it this way: when you're 4 years old, what are you typically doing? Going out? You got your allowance. You're running out to the ice cream man.
Allowance? What 4-year-old's getting
Allowance at
allowance?
4?
Oh snap! Is that just me? Well,
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
when
that is
I
just-
was 4, when I was 4, I was also doing hood shit, but like, no,
Yeah.
there you go. See, you meet up with your homies and you're about to exchange
Oh my
popsicles,
gosh.
and she's being born.
Yeah.
So that's the emphasis we got to put out there. That's why
Yeah.
it makes it feel a little bit older.
Nah, see, at that point, it doesn't matter. The 4-year gap is only like when it's like,
young.
Illegal.
When you under 18, stay
like,
away from that.
Yeah. No, but
Facts.
I just make fun of him because he's like he's turning 29 this year, a year away from 30. I just pull
Gray
his
hairs are coming in the beard,
pull his leg.
yeah, all right. I just because you were saying like kids and stuff, so I just got a little curious, you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I was young. You were pretty. He was pretty average age when
was 24?
we started when we had our son. But I was definitely young when we had our son. We have 2
I don't
kids.
think 20 is that young because you had to been 20. I'm assuming. when-
Yeah, I was. I
Or 21
just
when you were
turned
pregnant.
21. Yeah, I had just turned 21 when we had him.
Yeah,
And
shout out to
then-
Summer. She
okay.
was pregnant during the wedding, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, we got married
Nice.
and everything.
Oh, also congratulations. I
Oh,
didn't know you guys
thanks.
were married.
So much,
Congrats.
appreciate
Oh no,
it.
you said wife earlier. I didn't know that.
Yeah, we've
Hold
been.
on.
Yeah, married and 2 kids.
Yeah, the American dream.
Yeah.
No. So anyways, I just wanted to ask, but so the ferrets, because I feel like I haven't answered any of these questions. So the ferrets, yeah. So yeah, me and Paige, which is my girlfriend, that we've been living together since like June, so almost
Oh,
a year.
nice. You
And,
learn a lot from each other when you move in together.
First year, and then we moved in after that. But so yeah, we were just looking up like animals to get, or not to get, but like we were like, oh, ferrets would sound like really cool because like they're just crazy, like they're little terrorists, you know.
Yeah.
And but like they're really expensive, so like they're like $300 a piece.
Jesus.
Wow.
Plus like everything else. So we were just kind of looking on like adoptions or like, you know, like animal havens and stuff like that to see if we could find any. And then we found this lady. She was trying to not get rid of them, but like ultimately she just didn't have time to take care of them anymore because she was like, I'm working too much. My husband's working. The kid that we got, like our son that we got him for, he doesn't really take care of him because he's
Of
a kid.
course. Yeah.
You know. So she was like, so she just wanted to get rid of them. And she was only asking $100. It was like $100 for
Oh.
both the ferrets, the cage,
Discount
food,
babies.
all their toys,
Wow.
Just the way
like
to do it.
everything.
That's
Like yeah,
crazy.
and they were like a 3-hour drive from us. So I was like, bet. All right.
You're
And
like, dang.
yeah, we picked them up. I forgot what the original names were. 'Cause I think one of them was named like Larry or something like that.
Larry.
That's the
Yeah, I don't remember their names, but I then named them both Chopper and Draco, which happens to both reference firearms that I wasn't aware of. I mean, I was aware of. I just didn't put 2 and 2 together. Because I definitely called guns Choppers and Dracos.
Didn't
well-
connect it.
Yeah, that's right. Those are guns.
That's funny.
Because I was thinking Chopper from One Piece, like because the ferret's brown, and then white because Draco, like Draco Malfoy from like
Oh,
Harry
yeah,
Potter.
yeah, Harry Potter.
Yeah, but then I was like, oh yeah,
Oh,
those are
wait.
guns.
Yeah.
Got the young guns in the house.
So how is
Yeah,
it though
got the
having
Yopper.
how is it having like ferrets? Like how
So,
is that?
People definitely overhype that stink thing because everyone's like, "Oh, ferrets smell," and it's like, yeah, they kind of smell, but not really. Like, I've definitely smelled dogs worse.
Oh yeah. For sure.
You know, and like as long as you're like on their litter, they're fine because they don't bury their litter like cats, but they use a litter box like a cat. They just don't. Yeah, they just don't bury it. So like they'll just like take a shit and like leave it. So
That's
I clean it every
Cats
day.
are like trying to hide it. They're like, I didn't do anything here. Like,
yeah. So like yeah. So we clean out their litter every day, and then we give them a bath like I don't know, once every 2 weeks or something like that.
And like character, what like how are they? Like you know, because animals have their own
What are their
characters.
mannerisms?
Yeah.
Oh, they're fucking toddlers, like to a T.
That's funny.
Like it's so crazy how short like their attention span is.
Yeah.
So like they'll be kind of fixed on something. So like I let them out of my office sometimes and they'll just kind of run around. Like they'll grab my socks and hide them somewhere, or they'll like find their toys. But if they start kind of messing with something that they shouldn't be, like I'll tell them like no a couple times, and then eventually if I just plop them in front of something else, like they forget
Distracted.
everything that
Yeah.
happened.
Oh yeah.
And like sometimes like so Draco's kind of he's bigger, but he's kind of dumb. Like he's not dumb. He's just a kid still. Like he's younger still as well, but he's just like full of energy.
Yeah.
That like if Draco's just doing his own thing, and I grab Chopper and I just like kind of not drop Chopper on top of him, but like kind of place one noodle on top of the other noodle.
Yeah.
It'll like always start a play fight with them like every time.
Aww.
Like they just don't care.
Yeah.
And then like I like to open my hands because I have big hands. Like I could palm a basketball, like pickle jars quiver around me. And,
Quiver. That's funny.
to make like not like a hissing noise, but I'll be like I'll make like a noise that just like lets them know that I'm playing, because like they inherit sounds to like actions like really easily.
Okay.
Like they're really smart, so like we have them trained to do it. Like so we have this clicker that makes a clicking noise.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do it because they're in the cage right now, so they'll be like, okay,
freak
how am I
it.
supposed to come over here?
Yeah.
So no, if I click it, it lets them know to come to me.
Oh.
So if I can't find them because like in the house or something like that, like I'll let them go out into the living room. If there might be underneath the couch or something, I'll do the clicker and they'll both like come to me.
Oh, that's really
just-
smart.
they
know-
That is smart. I wish we could train
Do that
our
with the
kids
dogs.
to do that. No, our
Oh,
kids.
kids? Okay.
Facts. Yeah, kids suck.
Summer has the bigger picture in mind. Okay.
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
clicker
so
on
like
Amazon.
I'll do that
No
like
way.
kind of hissing noise to know that I'm playing with them. So I'll be like come here, and like they just like
Eat it up.
they like all like grab their own feet and like they'll like spin around and roll around.
Oh,
They're just
cool.
they're just
That's cute.
toddlers. They just have full of
Yeah.
energy. If they're not,
I think they're better trained than toddlers.
But yeah, ferrets. That's dope. Actually,
They're
you
better
just-
trained. I was saying that they're better trained than toddlers because when we call the kids, they don't come to, or if we do anything to call them or anything, they barely come to us.
Yeah, they won't come first command. You
Yeah.
gotta start with clicker.
Yeah, you gotta start
you gotta
training
give
them.
a click- you gotta. Yeah, I know. Every time you hit a clicker, just give them like a treat.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
funny.
man.
And then the final question that we have on Twitter here is one that I want to give you the floor
okay.
for. Is if you have any projects coming up, man, the floor is yours. Do you have any upcoming collabs going on, or anything that's coming to your channel? Anything that you want to share with the people that's coming?
Oh, before
Anytime
he
soon?
answers, shout out who
And
tweeted
this
that.
question came from primarily Blaze at Blaze59414215. Shout out to you, Blaze.
Welcome to the 5,940,000.
Oh.
That's his kill count. You've used it as his Twitter handle.
Yo, that's he's like that's my body count. Call of Duty.
That's funny.
Blaze.
What was this question though?
We got sorted. Shout out to you, Blaze, for the amazing Twitter handle that got us all distracted. His question is leading on kind of fusion onto my question. Is he asked if you have any upcoming projects for the channel in terms of collabs, and if you have anything coming up on your channel whatsoever. The floor is
Shout
yours
out.
to plug on whatever you got going on.
Okay. Yeah. So I do have one collab coming out. I don't know when. Also don't want to say who because it's someone I've worked with before, so that's the hint.
Ooh,
but
mystery man. I like that.
but
Something
we
exciting
like I
is
literally just
coming.
sent him a Discord message right now when me and you were cutting out. Like I was like, oh, I had to respond to his DM about a question on it. But yeah, we're bringing that back. So it's gonna be like a full-on Let's Play. So I'm excited for that because always had a good time recording with that. I should have a rap song coming out soon because I just finished an open. Yeah,
Me
not
too,
not
sure.
like a full rap song of me because I'm not that good, but like my buddy had an open. He was like, I have like 45 seconds. He was like, if you want to
cool.
do a verse, do one. So I was like, all right, cool. Because I was featured on Trap Card the mixtape. I don't know if the Tokens mixtape. I did an intro for him, and like I was just like, fine, all right, I'll actually start rapping again because I used to do it as a joke, but I guess people told me I'm not like the worst. So
Not the worst.
The hidden talent.
yeah, like no, I've had people tell me like, wow, I expected way worse. I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'll still take those.
That's still a compliment.
Yeah, it is.
take
I mean, if
those.
it's backhanded, it's still there. Like whatever.
Yeah.
And then I have another project. I can't legally say too much on it because it's very business heavy.
That's mysterious.
Yeah, so like I will say the hint though, because so like I don't know if you know this, but like I'm a really big metalhead, and that's kind of like obviously why I have like the blood Alakazam skull and like
I get the
the
vibe.
fox skull. If Pokemon ever watches this and ever wants to sue me, that's definitely a fox skull. But yeah, so like I also scream, like I also do like the edgy screamo
okay.
stuff like that. And so it's related with that. So it's pretty much like a metal song. It's just there's some legal stuff behind it that I can't get too much into detail.
The
but-
best plugs are the ones you give us no information
Yeah,
for, so you
those
guys
are
stay
the
tuned.
Facts. It's the intrigueness, yeah. And then yeah, I mean, other than that, I mean, I have a showdown laddering series soon that'll be coming out. I don't know if I'm gonna do it by myself or if I want to have someone else with it. Like I might hit up Envy or like Blunder or something. Hit up one of the Mount Rushmore dudes for that. Yeah, Joey, Blunder, Envy, and Chimpact. That's like showdown Mount Rushmore. Like I don't think there's hardly any battler better than those four. Like that's like the legit elite four.
Yeah, I can agree with that 100%.
Yeah, so I might hit up one of them to get it on because like I definitely want, like speaking like way back about the Gen 8 meta, I definitely want to like get really good at this meta because I see where I could get better. Like the way I played my last game in the APA was definitely like way more in my pocket, and I was like, okay, I could definitely pick up like what I did right in this one.
100%.
Yeah, but other than that, that's kind of about it. Just
All
still
very
plugging
intriguing
stuff.
plugs because we know nothing about it, but we
Yeah.
want to know
a little
more.
bit more.
Yeah.
That's epic. Guys, that's going to be it for us today. Thanks so much to PattyTrills for coming on to the podcast. I really do appreciate you, my man. Guys, please make sure you guys check out this guy. Down in the description below, leave a link down to all his information, his Twitter, his YouTube, blow him up. Leave a subscribe onto his YouTube, follow his Twitter, all that fun jazz. It's been a good time today.
Yeah, had a good time for my second
if you
one.
guys
This
ever
is
want
pretty
me, have
good.
me back,
Yeah.
so let me know anytime.
Yeah.
For sure, we will take you up on that. But guys, that's gonna be a wrap for us. Thanks so much again to Patty for coming onto the podcast. Summer, thank you so much for joining me as my co-host. It's been a good one, guys. With all that being said, if you guys did like it, again, leave a
Can we
like.
get a shout out to Summer real quick? Let's just get a round of applause.
Oh, stop.
A round of applause to Summer. I just
Stop.
Which
handled
is
the conversations well, you know.
100%.
Especially as a co-host, I always feel like that's like I feel like as a co-host for a podcast, it's always like an area either people really don't do well in or it doesn't ever get enough credit in, and you definitely are in the
Which is
when he
phenomenal.
kind of made, I said this before, but
Vaughn told her.
he really like, he's like, he literally came up to me, he's like, you're doing the podcast with me. I was like, what? Because this is really out of my comfort zone. I'm actually it might not seem like it, but I'm very shy. I'm a good conversationalist, but I'm a very shy person. I don't like to be in front of the camera. I don't like any attention on me. I'm very behind the scenes. So doing this for me is like, before every episode we start, I'm like, do I really need to do this? Like, I'm not really useful in this situation.
But then at the same time, she just like grabs it and takes off with it randomly. She doesn't think that she can, but all of a sudden, boom, she just takes off.
No, I think you like. I'm not saying I'm the fucking god of podcasts, so like my word isn't say all be all. But no, I definitely think you handled everything really well on your end with like not over talking too much, not butting in, but also like holding your own, saying a good pacing, and then also like carrying the conversation correctly and stuff.
Yeah,
That's hard as a co-host. Because as a main host, that's easy. Because it's like you're the one asking the questions, or you're the one. It's your show, so it's like that's whatever. And as a guest, I can just sit here and talk about how to make pizza. I don't know. I can talk about whatever.
Yeah.
But as a co-host, you're just kind of like that in the in between, like, gray
Yeah.
area that a lot of people don't talk about. And
Yeah. I'm more here to like emphasize on things, like
She's
to add a
beautiful.
little like spice to whatever he's
little
asking.
pizzazz,
Yeah, exactly.
flavor,
The
salt
glitter
and
and
pepper.
Yeah.
Salt and pepper. But guys, that's gonna do it for us. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, leave a like to the video if you can. Please do me a massive favor and do that for me. And with that being said, we're gonna get the heck up out of here. Have a great rest of your night, and above all else, be nice. Peace.
Bye. Bye.